Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video. Now for this one I wanted to show you guys how I do the backups and all that kind of good stuff. So there are kind of only really two ways that I backup files like apps and stuff. One is using an app called Titanium Backup, and then another way is to use TWRP, the backup option. Now I'll show you the Titanium Backup first. So to get Titanium, you would want to go into your Play Store and then just search for Titanium Backup, and you can download this one here at the top, Titanium Backup. And this is a rooted app, by the way. Yeah, I should have probably mentioned at the start that both of these methods need to have your phone rooted. So that's that one. And I also have the Pro key version, so this allows you to encrypt your backups, which is nice, which I will show you in a bit. So once you installed both of those, what you want to do is then just open it up. Yeah, there it is. Kind of forgot where I put it. So this is your home page, kind of, where it tells you your free space and whatever. And now you have the menu option here at the top corner. So if you bought the paid version, you can go into here and enable encryption. And then here you can create a master key, which will, you can pick the 496-bit, so enter your password, and then it will generate some keys that you can use. And whenever you want to restore a backup, you'll have to type in the key that you typed in here. So I recommend doing that. That way, if, I don't know, somebody like goes on your computer and then copies over your backup files or whatever, they won't be able to install it on their phone. So the next section here is backup and restore. This will list all of your apps, including your system apps, which are in red. You can back up the system apps as well if you want. I generally don't really, because they come pre-installed anyway, so that's fine. So if you want to back up a single app, you just press up, or you just press the app button or the application, and then you'll get a menu here. You have backup, you have freeze. Now freeze just kind of force stops the app, so don't really need to worry about that. And then, but the two main options here are backup and restore. So how backup works is you just back up, and it's gonna back up the app. Depending on the size of the app, it will take a while, because it backs up the APK and the data. So if your phone got reset or whatever, you can copy over the Titanium backup folders, which I'll show you later, then just restore all the backups without needing to go into Play Store and downloading them again. So that's handy. So as you can see there, iSCAT mobile finished. And if we want to restore, we can click restore, and it'll give you an option. You can either restore the data, you can either restore the app, or you can restore the app and data. Generally what you want to do is app and data, or if you kind of messed up some settings in an app, you can just use app. So in this case, I'll choose app and data. There should be a message here popping up saying I need to, yeah, there it is. So if you have enabled the password, it'll ask you for the password to restore now. Now at the moment I don't really care about that, so I'll just exit out of that. Now doing it this way, as you might have seen, will take ages. If you have like hundreds of apps, you won't be going, through every single one of these apps and backing them up and restoring them. So thankfully this thing has a batch actions. So if you click the menu on the top right corner, you will see here batch actions. You want to click on that, and this will give you options of all the things you can run. So you can either back up all user apps, back up all system apps, back up all user apps and system apps. So I generally run this one. If this is my first time backing up, you would run this one, the backup all user apps and system data. Or if you're doing like this backup occasionally, you can do backup new user and system apps and data. So I'll actually run this one in a second. So this is like for when you're backing up all your stuff. And then to restore everything, you would go into the restore options, and it's the same thing. So you can restore all missing apps. Missing apps is the ones that you don't have installed at the moment. Now, as you can see here, I have 214 missing apps. This is because I have like a bunch of stuff from my previous phones and stuff like that in the same Titanium folder. So I generally, when you press like say restore all apps, it gives you an option of all the apps you want to install. And I generally just do deselect all and then just select the ones individually that I want to install, for example. So I'll just cancel that. And so the rest of the stuff here, move, freeze, and defrost and all that kind of stuff, you don't really want to mess around with that. This is like more for if you're doing some, I don't know, some kind of strange stuff. But these are generally the main options you would run here. So since I actually have some new user apps installed, I don't know why I have so many, but I'll run this backup here. As you can see, it tries to back up like all of the system apps and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'll actually give a go and back up all of these, sure. And what you want to do is press the green tick up here, and it's going to start backing up. Now usually the bigger apps, like so the bigger apps in size would take a lot longer than say apps that are only a few kilobytes in size. But generally it shouldn't take too long. Now sometimes this does get stuck here for a very long time. And that is because sometimes some apps, they don't work with Titanium Backup. Now it's very rare that you will find any, but I have found a few of the ones that I use that do get stuck and you cannot back them up or you cannot restore them. I'm not sure why that is, but out of like, I don't know, the 200 apps I have, I think it's only like 3 that don't work, so it's not bad. Alright, and there we go. So that took, I don't know, you can probably tell by the timer I didn't really pay attention, I was just doing other stuff. So yeah, once you got that backed up, everything here should be backed up. So if we go into batch actions, should be 0 new user apps and all that good stuff. So next time you like mess up your phone or something, you could just run the restore missing apps and then prefer XML and then just click OK here to back up everything. You might want to untick the system apps. So what you can actually do is restore, so you can restore missing apps with data. This will only show the the user apps. It won't show the system apps because you don't really want to restore system apps. They might mess things up since they're gonna be there anyway, so there's kind of no point. You might just want to restore the data for them, you know. Alright, so I'll show you where this is on your phone now, because you won't want to back up and then leave it on your phone, because that's kind of, you know, defeats the point of backing up. So where this actually resides is inside the Titanium Backup folder, inside the root directory. And so as you can see, it's not too much. It's like 4 gigabytes for like around, I'm not sure if this is how many apps I have, but there's a good bit of apps in there, like from old Android. I think there's like some from Android 8 here as well. So yeah, I'll show you how to like put them on your computer or something. I don't know. So anyway, here's the PC. Plug your phone in. Oh yeah, by the way, since this is kind of like a lot of data, you might want to use the side USB port. Like even if you don't have the fan, you can just use the side USB port with USB-C cable, or like USB 3C cable or higher. I actually have a Thunderbolt cable here, so what you want to do is just shove it into the side, and that way your phone will transfer the data faster, since this here is only USB 2, and then this port here on the side is USB 3.1. So that's what you want to use, and that's what I will use as well. So when you plug in your phone, there'll be a pop-up saying use USB for file transfer. Press yes, and then on your computer you should see Rog Phone 2 here. If you don't see it, just go into my computer and it should be here inside device and drivers. So I'll just open that in new tab, and then where I am backing up, I will also open that. So I'll just back it up to my SSD. I'll put inside here, then I'll create a new file here. Backup. So here's like my Android 9 backup that I did before upgrading to Android 10. So on the Rog Phone 2, go in here, go into internal storage, and then over where you have Titanium Backup, Control C, and then over here, Control V, or you can just drag it as well, but sometimes Windows isn't really the most, I don't know, like sometimes it might just like cut instead of copy. Windows is strange that way. Alright, just noticed here about 22 hours remaining. The hell. Don't know, Windows is just a very, very strange operating system. I actually only really use it to edit videos because of Premiere Pro. If that was on Linux, oh, that would be great. Alright, so that took about, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, not 22 hours. Jesus, alright. So yeah, it looks like this. It's mostly just like compressed files. So yeah, like after you mess up your phone, you can just copy this back over to your phone, install Titanium Backup, and then off you go from there. Alright, so next backup method is using TWRP. If you don't have TWRP installed, you can check out my easy routing guide and then just fast forward to 14.10. That's where I go through how to install TWRP. And so once that's done, we want to boot into TWRP. So the easiest way of doing that is if you go into Magisk Manager, go into Modules, then right click here and then reboot to Recovery. So the second option there. If the camera wants to focus, oh well, who cares, just click the second option and you're good to go. You can do this by holding down the power key and the volume up key and then cycling through the menu once you get to recovery. Alright, once you're booted up, if you have a lock screen password, this will pop up. Then once you type it in, it should decrypt all your stuff. So for backing up, there's two options really here. There's backup, which allows you to back up all of the partitions here. And then there is the restore, which allows you to restore from your previous backup. So as you can see here, I have like a bunch of Android stock boot and stuff, which basically if I want to get rid of TWRP and all that kind of stuff, I just flash this and it's good to go. But anyway, that's not what you're here for. So you want to go into backup, and then you want to back up everything, and you want to do the data separately. Now this is because the data for me gets, like if I include it in here, the backup fails for some reason, which is fine. We'll just do the data separately. And then you want to create a date, so, or a name, I mean. So I'll just call this Android, let's see, 10. And then I'll just append the date here. Go to options. You can enable the compression if you're low on file space, but I'm not, I'm fine. And then you can choose a password. I recommend choosing a password. So I'm going to choose a password. So after you type it in, press the blue yoke here, and it'll ask you for the same password again. And after you got it, press, alright, well I messed up. Let me try this again. Alright, that should be fine. So just press the enter here, and there we go. Encryption is green. And then you can just swipe to back up. And this will take a while, because I have like a pretty beefy system partition or whatever. So I'll just let this go here. Alright, there we go. So you want to wait for this blue yoke here saying finish. So that took 94 seconds. Really? That was quite fast. So alright, and then to back up the data, you want to get rid of all these, select data, and then just do the same name. So Android 10, and then I'll just put in data only, because that's how I usually have it, and then append the date. And there we go. Now for the data, I had some issues with compression, so I'm just going to ignore the compression and just back up. Oh yeah, and by the way, it even mentions here, data does not include like your DCIM folder where all your pictures are, or it doesn't include your downloads. So to back up those, you just simply copy them over to the computer. All your DCIM files, pictures, music, all that kind of good stuff. So this just backing up the app data, similar like Titanium Backup, but this one backs it up faster and kind of all in one go. So I recommend doing it this way, but I find doing both of them is handy because sometimes TWRP messes up when it's restoring, so your data will kind of be gone. So that's when Titanium Backup comes in. But when I'm restoring data, I usually try for TWRP, and if TWRP succeeds, then I don't need to use Titanium Backup. But long story short, Titanium Backup like works very reliably. Alright, so that took 83 seconds, which is not bad. And you would also want to like copy this over to your phone, so I'll show you where that is. It's kind of straightforward, but nonetheless. Alright, so once you're in, I'll actually show you where the TWRP backups are held. So if you go into internal storage, look for a folder called TWRP, there it is, and go into backups, and then there we go, that's our backups there that we did the last two, which is cool. So stick your phone back into the computer again. Allow for USB transfer. Jeez, why is my camera so blurry? That was weird. Anyway, let's go back here and open it up again. And there's the TWRP, so copy it over to the same place where you want to copy over stuff. Now again, Windows is going to lie to us about the 1 hour copy time. This is probably only going to take like 5 minutes or so. Alright, so that took around 5 minutes or so. Yeah, so if you're doing like a full backup, you would want to back up your pictures folder, your movies if you have any movies, your DCIM, which is like all your camera and that kind of stuff. If you have any call recordings, all that kind of good stuff, your music and your screen recorder, recordings, ringtone. Yeah, so basically all of these. And your downloads folder as well, because that doesn't get backed up too. So just highlight all those, then copy them over to wherever you're holding stuff. Now I'm not gonna bother doing that, cause I don't need to have like my music backed up like in other places and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it, I suppose. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you how to restore. Alright, hang on there one moment. So I'm just gonna boot back into TWRP there. Alright, so once you're back in, you can go into restore and then you'll see you can do it by the date. So there we go. The last thing we did was backup data only, so you could just swipe to restore. Now I'm not gonna do that because it's gonna take a while. And then the first backup that we did was of everything else but the data. So if your bootloader gets messed up, like your phone starts to boot loop, you can just, if you backed up recently, you can just restore the boot. So swipe to restore, it's gonna restore boot, and there we go, restore complete in 4 seconds. So that's pretty good. Then you can reboot your phone and then you should no longer be in a boot loop or whatever. So yeah, that's it, kind of showing you how to back up your phone. So when you're, I don't know, like downgrading to Android 9 from Android 10, for example, all your data gets deleted. Or if you tried flashing some, I don't know, custom kernel, some custom ROM or whatever, and messed up, you can easily restore this way. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.